Here it is.
What? What's going on, Crimson Tide Nation? Welcome to the inaugural episode of Alabama Primetime Live,
Prime
the
time.
best spot to get your college football news, the biggest brand in the sport, and the best
Yes, sir.
time of day. What more do you ask for? My name is Brady Couto. I am you may have seen me on ESPN, Flow Sports, Seekonk Speedway, up in Massachusetts. Alabama Crimson Tide fan since I was in diapers. Manny Wilson is a podcaster. He is an Alabama fan,
Yes, sir.
and I'm so excited to get this journey started with you, my friend.
Always, man. I'm super excited to jump into it as well. Man, been going for Bama. I don't even know, man. I'm really just. I've been preaching on and on about getting back to that championship essence. It hurt seeing us fall short and seeing OSU win it and all, but no, man. I'm always just trying to get the best of Bama because that's what I'm so used to. I think
Right.
we've all gotten a little spoiled at this point. But obviously, hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Whether you listen to the podcast and you know me from there, or Clutch Points, whatever the case is, I appreciate it. But we are here now, and we got some stuff we're ready to jump into it. So, I mean, why keep them waiting?
Right. If you're new to the Voice of College Football Network, like, subscribe, share, follow us on social media as well. That little handle there, that's me on every platform. All right, so it's the off season. Recruiting just about done. Portal done. Just about. So I'm gonna share here. Looking at 24/7, and seeing what they have to say. I'm optimistic about everything that is going on. The only thing, I guess, that worries me is this working okay for you, Manny?
Yeah, well, I got the list up here too, so I can see it. If anybody can't see it,
let us know.
Sorry
Yeah.
about that, but
the only thing that worries me, and I think is because it was such a drag last year, is the defense. And I felt that I'm gonna stop sharing this because I don't
worry about
think
it.
it's working. It's the defense, and I think for a while, Alabama always would get into track meets, and they were just so much better than everybody else. They always get into track meets, and every time they got into a track meet, they win. So yes, there were certain individuals on a defense that were great, all the way back to like Dante Hightower, like those days. But even more recently with, Deron Payne and Brian Battle, and those are the two people that came to my head first. There's great individuals, right? But as a unit, I feel like the last couple of years they've struggled, and especially with Kalen being a defensive-minded coach this year, I really thought defensively the Tide would be better. And I don't know. I feel like they weren't, unlike the offense, defensively, they weren't good when they needed to be. Does it concern you that the recruiting heavily leaned on the offensive side of the football?
So I'm a little concerned about that. But also, I think this is going to be a revamped offense that we have not seen in the past few years. The offense has been a little slow, and the defense has really been the main thing keeping us in games, and that's been the bread and butter over the past few years. So I'm not. That's the only reason I'm not upset about Bama going heavy on the recruiting for offensive guys, whether it's linemen, whether it's running backs, receivers, whatever the case is. I'm okay with that. I trust that the defense is going to be able to shake something up. Obviously, DeBoer is their defensive-minded coach, as you mentioned, and should be able to shake something up. And then now we got the new offensive coordinator and a lot of talent in that quarterback room. So recruiting guys on the offensive end, putting the right pieces around the talented quarterbacks, to me, only makes sense. I'm like, I love it. I'm all for it. Like, Bama's offense has been It wasn't my favorite. I'm gonna just say it wasn't my favorite last year. We looked rough. We couldn't really get the ball downfield throwing. It was just it wasn't a pretty offense to watch in a game. It didn't look dominant in a similar fashion that a lot of Bama fans may recognize. Like usually it's like, okay, this is a well-oiled machine, and it had a lot of rust on it, and we just couldn't seem to knock it off all season. So that's why I'm comfortable with going heavy on the offensive end. But defense, I am scared. I don't want to completely disregard defense because obviously that's been the bread and butter for so long. And this is usually an element where you can always count on Alabama's defense saving the day or just being a crucial core element in the game. But I won't say I'm worried, but I'm keeping my eye open for that defensive end because I'm like, we can't drop the ball on the defensive end. Yeah, if we start outscoring teams 20-0, like we got to still be able to play some defense. Like we got to play defense at the end of the day at some point during the season.
Well, the SEC is, I don't need to stress how tough the league is. It's the best league in the nation by far. The non-conference schedule, like last year, it wasn't, the week before Iron Bowl is always a gimme, right? This year it's Eastern Illinois. Always a gimme. But I love the home Wisconsin game. Wisconsin maybe not the sort of year that Badger fans and Luke Fickell were hoping to have last year, but that's a test, right? And I think now, I know they were bad last year. Going to Doak Campbell to play Florida State. Florida State sucks. I know they were bad, but that's a tough environment, right? So I don't care how bad you are. You can go in a tough environments, play against a subpar team and lose. I'm not going to say they're going to lose. I don't see that at all.
It's possible. It's possible though.
But it is possible. I don't even want to put it into the world, but I do see one loss on this schedule. I see one loss on this schedule, and it's at Georgia.
Man,
that's the only.
That's gonna be a tough
it.
Game. That's gonna be a tough game.
That may Tide fans they may agree to disagree with that. They may see it differently. So I think that's a great first game for Alabama, and especially with does Keelan Russell start? I'm saying yes.
You going
Give him the keys. Give him the keys to the car.
Okay.
The kid is unbelievably talented. We know Texas has the best high school football circuit in the country.
Yep, all over.
It was second nationally. Second in his position. He was the number one recruit coming out of the state of Texas. 6'3", 175. He's got the build to have success in this league and beyond. And he's got the arm strength, mobile when he needs to be.
Yeah.
You're not fully sold on starting week 1?
I'm still not sure yet. I'm trying to say my judgment aside from just having like favorites and who's good, who's not, and who's seen the field and did what in high school and did this first. Instead of like trying to compare all of that, I'm trying to just go by something that's near and dear to me, which is the eye test. But obviously it's hard to go by the eye test with true freshman QBs and stuff like that. So one of the things I'm kind of waiting for is the training camp. I'm waiting for the clips to come out. I'm waiting for the scrimmages and stuff like that, because that'll show me like, okay, this guy, he looks well equipped for it. Or, even some practice film or something. I need to just see a little bit more in terms of get these guys playing on a collegiate level competitively against other teams before I say this guy should 1000% be the starter. Now, last thing, and then I'll let you go. So one of the things too that I think about is Ty Simpson. He's been there for some time, man. So right now, if I had to choose someone, I'm not going to say I want him as a starter right now, but he's the one that I understand has the most experience out of all the other quarterbacks right now, because in this quarterback room, because he's been there. He's been the backup for, I think it was Bryce Young. He was a backup too.
I think he's a redshirt He's a redshirt junior.
Yeah, so he's been around for some time.
Right, redshirt junior. You're obviously an academic senior, so yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's about time. It's about time,
right.
But then I don't want that to be the primary reason why we're like, all right, let's get him out there, let's start him. Like, no. I don't want that. I need a guy who's going to make sure we win. I need the best, the most talented out there.
My going into it, I guess who I'd place the bet on was actually going to be Londrin. Obviously, he transfers to Boston College. So, all right, you got to look for another option. Ty Simpson, yes, but Austin Mack is 6'6",
I like that,
225 pounds.
I'm glad you mentioned his name. Glad you mentioned it.
Cam Newton was a big boy. He had some success. I'll go back to saying guys like Felipe Franks. He was a big boy. He had a little bit of success. KJ Jefferson was a big boy. He had a lot of success.
Absolutely.
Jalen Milroe's bigger guy, and he had success. So do you ride the trendy wave, or do you go with you can go trend, go Austin Mack. You can go the guy that knows the system, the guy that is going to complete his passes, Ty Simpson. Or do you go with the young, explosive, shiny new toy in Keelan Russell? Like, I'll get your answer on this, and then we're gonna go to break. What's your if you're gonna bet on one of them?
No, I get it. Right now I think so. Again, don't want to base it solely off of just the things that these guys accomplished in the past. I want to see what's going on now. That's the first thing. First and foremost, that's going to be like my sole argument in this conversation. But just in the hypothetical world right now, which we're talking about, I also like Austin Mack. I like Austin Mack because he has experience under the new offensive coordinator.
He does.
And
Brian Grubb.
Yes, he has the same man. He has the experience of being there. So to me, whatever game plan Grubb implements is going to be kind of a plus for Austin Mack's ability because he was recruited specifically to go in that system. We've seen Michael Penix play in the same system that got Washington to a national championship. So I that's one of the reasons I'm favored in Austin Mack. And then honestly, watching him play, like just seeing the clips of him throwing the ball, bro, he gives me Michael Penix Jr. Look, aside from what Michael Penix Jr. is doing in the NFL, hey, he's my favorite. He's my
He's gonna
right now.
Keep eyes out. That's what I'm gonna say for this year.
I'm telling y'all, hey, look, side note, Falcons, look, enjoy making fun of us now because when we're good, I'm gonna be a loose cannon. I just gotta let you know. I'm gonna be a loose cannon. And I gotta let it be known. But that's neither here or there right now. Back to Alabama. So Austin Mack playing in that same system that Michael Penix played for, or a similar system that may come from the same offensive coordinator. He gives me Michael Penix Jr. vibes. 6'6", 220 plus, can move, can throw, has a crazy arm. Not necessarily a mobile quarterback, but he's also not a pocket passer either. He can move around. He can throw on the run. Like, he's doing a lot of great things with the ball. And also, too, he's hungry. I mean, all of these guys are going to be hungry, but this is a dude, like, you came from Washington to Alabama because of DeBoer. And then now you get your own offensive coordinator too. Like, so it's like, it's kind of getting set up to be Austin Mack. And I wouldn't be mad at that. At least just seeing what the guy has and what he can do out there, maybe the first few weeks, or again, going back to training camp. Once we see, what these guys do come training camp and stuff, then it's like, all right, maybe I'll go here. Maybe I'll go there. He has some great throws, so we'll go there.
The best test for that is going to be A-Day, which we're going to get into that and the transfer portal right after we pause for 30 seconds. Stick it here on the Voice of College Football Network. All right, 24/7 Sports. Love everything they do. They've got Alabama's transfer portal class, number 20 in the country, which I don't hate. But I like this group that was put together, headlined by Cameron Calhoun, defensive back transfer from Utah. He's got 3 years of eligibility, but the one I'm excited the most about, and it's because some depth was lost at this position, is Isaiah Horton, transfer from Miami. 6'4",
Yes.
205.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
but think about, there needs to be, you think of every good Alabama team had a duo of receivers that kind of made the quarterback's life easier.
Yeah.
You have Ryan Williams, who we don't need to mention how great that kid is.
Man.
I feel like Isaiah Horton can be option number 2, and I use that term very loosely. He can be option number 2. He could be the Scottie Pippen in this to Ryan Williams, Michael Jordan, and he's going to thrive in that role. But it helps when you're 6'4" in this league.
Man.
Come on.
It's so beautiful for a quarterback to have a target like that. I mean, guys who obviously are fast and quick can do a lot of damage with open space, and then also having just the big target where you can just give it to him anytime and he's got it. It's lovely.
Yeah. I think just it's more so, losing Law and losing Prentice. I liked Prentice. So to see him go to Baylor, I don't know. Like
weird move. The moves to non-contending teams is just weird moves to me, man. It's that NIL bread. It's that.
It's gotta be because money, man. I like Dave Aranda, but clock's ticking, right? Like start winning or you're gone. And I feel like
he's out of there.
The deal with him. But I digress. That's you need to have depth in that position in this league if you want to win. And I think Horton coming in immediately does that. And this is going to be somebody I want to keep my eye out for on a day. It's Derek Meadows. So Derek Meadows, 4-star recruit, wide receiver out of Bishop Gorman down in Vegas, number 1 player in the state of Nevada. He's 6'5", 200 pounds. So you got Ryan Williams, who can do everything. 6'4" Isaiah Horton, 6'5" Derek Meadows.
You got some targets over there, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, you got some nasty targets over there to throw the ball.
And Meadows is so diverse. I was watching some film. Great hands. The route running's there, and he's a bigger guy. And I'm also just biased towards like the bigger targets, right? Like I look at guys in the league like Tim Patrick, who's like 6'6", maybe doesn't get enough credit because he's always like the third option on a team. But no, that's who I want the ball going to, because you don't even have to jump for like. So easy for them.
The possession receivers, I feel like, can really, really open up offense. When you do have the fast guys mixed in with the bigger targets, I feel like that just opens up the offense for a quarterback to thrive. And then, not to mention, too, you got running backs there you can hand it off to, running backs that can catch and be used as, in a way, receivers in today's football. So you really kind of set that offense up for success. The only thing you need is just a solid game plan to go along with it.
So, and you've got Jam still, who is just so, like, his low center of gravity makes him so unbelievably dangerous. And he will play on Sundays, right? I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that one bit. But now, who's option number 2? Because this is kind of there's debate here, right? You can go with the more experienced, Draylon Washington, who's coming in from Louisiana, 5'9", 225. All right, so kind of similar style to Jam. You've got Michael Areno, who I'm thinking is maybe the more likely option, 6 foot, 185. But they're bringing in a kid, Deer, I don't know how to say his first name. Acklin. If somebody knows, write it. Put it in the comments.
We get the vibe.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
that's
we
the
know.
one is going to be who is going to be that weight off of Jam's shoulders.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. And when it comes to like the transfers and stuff, like I was content with getting the receivers and the pieces.
I thought the transfer class was great.
Yeah,
I think 20 is a little too low.
Yeah, transfers it was definitely a big plus for us. That was something that's definitely going to help us out. And like the thing that stood out to me though with the transfers, aside from like trying to fill the gaps on the offense, was like kind of to the point that you brought in was the defense. So like Bama's defense, as been the bread and butter for the past 3 years. I mean, they had a true freshman cornerback. He did his thing. Xavier Brown, I think he was like leading freshman in interceptions last year, but he did a fairly solid job at cornerback, especially being a true freshman. Also, too, grabbing another defensive lineman is huge in the portal. Then adding another cornerback too, Cameron Calhoun, which is
Calhoun's going to be good. I'm high on him.
Yeah, bringing him there to help out on the defense is going to be good, bro. I thought there was a lot of times too in certain teams we played where we just gave up far too many big plays. So although this is typically unlike what we've seen in the past of Bama just giving up so many big plays and things like that, it was tough to watch. It's hard to ignore that when you're playing a big time game and your opponent is getting big time plays. So adding some more defensive pressure there in Kelby Collins, to be specific. But I mean, this dude, huge plus coming from Florida. And then I know it was another linebacker as well they picked up. I think it was from Colorado.
Nikai Hill-Green is a senior coming in from Colorado.
Green, yep. So that's going to be huge, man. You add Green to that element. You add another defensive lineman coming from Florida in Kelby Collins, and then Cameron Calhoun, which is a great defensive back already to the mix that we have. I think this is why the transfer class stood out to me with Bama is because it's going to change things around. And I'm on the side of Bama being this ferocious, scary defense. But unfortunately, you can't be a ferocious, scary team if you're not locking people up and you're not shutting people out and beating teams by 30 points. Like, call it what you want, but I mean, that's what brings the intimidation factor. It's not about, this team spent $1 million on their roster. This team, they recruited this many 5 stars. None of that stuff. What really brings the intimidation factor in college football is if you're beating teams by 30 and 40 points. And this is ultimately the Bama that I want them to get back to. Yeah. With the offense, now that we got pieces in terms of new recruits, also some pieces to fill voids coming from the portal as well. Like you mentioned, this shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to go ahead and put up some crazy numbers on the offensive end, especially because we got a new offensive coordinator, a hell of a quarterback room. So this shouldn't even be a problem. And then now you add the defensive elements, so we should be good. That's where I'm headed on it.
I think every void was filled. There weren't many voids. I think quarterback, I guess, would be the biggest, but at the same time, I mean, was it?
So I'm on the side of yes.
You had guys, okay. It's obviously a void. I'm not debating that it's a big void, of course. I mean, in any level of college and professional football, anytime you lose a quarterback, yes, it's a big void. But
so I'm actually on the I'm on the side that even all through last year, it was a void. I know a lot of people either like are ride or die for Milroe or they're like, nah, not really feeling him. I was on that side of not really feeling him. I gotta admit.
He was okay. I mean, but I think you just look at who he's going to this draft class with. It's like you're borderline in my eyes. You're a borderline first round pick.
I'd be surprised if he goes first.
I'd be surprised if he was a first round pick.
Yeah, I would be shocked.
You're gonna have Cam Ward. You're gonna have Ward. You're gonna have Shador. Jackson Dart is impressing a lot of people. So when you look at the combine, which is coming up in the rear view mirror pretty quickly, Jackson Dart is going to turn some people's heads. And I know Alabama fans cringing when I bring up Jackson Dart. Don't deny that he's good.
Yeah.
Don't deny he didn't get the amount of credit he deserved because Ole Miss is maybe it's not the biggest brand in the SEC. Ole Miss will always be kind of under the shadow of Alabama and Georgia and LSU.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just the way it goes. But things like that, where you're going to have, like Jalen's going to have a big combine in trying to show that, I was a pretty big loss, even though not everyone is feeling that right now. Malachi Moore is a huge loss.
Yeah, that is
but
true.
at the same time, how many people were brought in that makes it like, oh, they're fine. Calhoun.
Yeah.
Him going, I mean, I think there are other, you brought up Xavier. This is his secondary now. And he is gonna, I think, thrive in this little leadership role.
I hope so, man.
Is gonna be that Kane Womack, defensive coordinator, is gonna place on him.
I hope so, man. So I'm curious. It's come A day. Okay. What is it like you're gonna be looking for when you're checking this out? What is it like? Some things that you're gonna for sure pay attention to.
Well, the stopping the big play on the defensive side of the ball, because you brought up how much that hurt the Tide last year. And I think just the secondary play overall. And that's only because I'm looking at the schedule. Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, these teams that just for some reason always have good receivers. I would say Missouri, but Luther Burden's not there anymore. So do I really put Missouri in the mix? I don't know if I do that. They're gonna be good, don't get me wrong, but Luther Burden is one of one, right? Like they're not going to be able to replace his production in 1 year, right? I don't really know their transfer class off the top of my head, nor do I know their recruiting class, but you don't replace somebody of Luther Burden's caliber in one season. Or if you do, it takes multiple people to do it. So I just look at teams with big playability. Georgia. I think Vanderbilt showed it a couple times last year, as funny as that is, because it's Vanderbilt. Tennessee is always a big play threat. Nico's a good. It's good.
Yeah, he's nice, man.
He's good. Georgia, I don't even know who did Georgia get to replace Beck. Did they end up bringing somebody in?
They I don't know. I haven't been paying too much attention to what Georgia's been having going on. But I think they hit the portal for a guy.
I think they did too.
Yeah, I think they hit the portal for a guy.
But let's see. Oh, they got the Branch brothers from USC. I mean, they're not a quarterback, but Zachariah, a little off topic. Zachariah Branch is a fantastic football player.
Yeah.
All right. It's not coming up right now. I don't really feel like looking because this is an Alabama show.
Yeah. We don't care about Georgia here, man.
We don't care about Georgia.
We gonna beat them anyway.
Point being is that can you showcase your ability to stop the big play against teams that, if given a chance, they will bite you on the big play. And I think the quarterback play goes without saying. And again, I think we've got our three to keep our eyes on, right? Keelan Russell, Ty Simpson, and we both of us are Austin Mack people. We will throw him into the mix. I'm gonna stray away from like offensive and defensive lines because they're always good. They always will be good.
It's expected.
So I'm not right. Same thing with the receiving room. Ryan Williams, Bernard. I'm really excited about Isaiah Horton and Derek Meadows. I think if those four, if they can be the big four, especially again, Horton and Meadows is 6'4" and 6'5". Those are your big play threats. If you can get them going and really just untap all the potential, especially that's there with Derek Meadows, you'll be just fine. So I would say that's mostly it. And then, like we mentioned earlier, who kind of takes that RB2 role. We know, Jam will be getting the ball just about all the time. But if I'm gonna pick one person, I guess, to keep my eye out on a day, it's gonna be Ty Simpson.
Okay. I'm not
Because
mad at that.
it's his, you know what? As much as I think Keelan, I think he is going to be the guy. Maybe I think I'm on the minority on that, where the majority is all for Ty Simpson. I see it as Ty Simpson's job to lose. Keelan has to outplay Ty Simpson. Will
like
he?
gets the
I don't know,
because he's there.
right?
Like
so that's why I'm like, you know what? I want to see how you handle this, because we're assuming it's you. Most people, I should say, are assuming it's you, but we know what happens when we assume. So that's why that's my bigger one on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, oh boy, I'm gonna go with Hill Green.
Okay.
I want to see how he captains the defense.
That's gonna be huge, man.
No denying his ability. No, he's quick as a cat. Great, good footwork. But I want to see how he takes control, how he quarterbacks that defense.
Yeah. That's gonna be huge.
Right. And I think he can. And I think he can to a high level. But I just want to see how quickly that kind of blends in. And then, I mean, there's always that one person, on a day that's flying under everybody's radar.
Yeah.
And
he's showing out, just balling, and we like, damn, we didn't really pay much attention to him. So
do you have a couple people in mind?
So rather than people, and so the primary focus for me is going to be the quarterback play. I want to check out Simpson, Austin Mack, Keelan Russell. I want to see what touches those guys are doing and see what they're doing with the opportunities that's given to them from the defense that they're going against a day. So that's going to be the focus of number one. Number two, I'm going to be looking at that defensive front, really just seeing how much pressure they can get. I think this year football, if anything, we've learned on every level, whether it's high school, college, and NFL, we've seen how effective a solid defensive pass rush can be. So that's what I'm going to be kind of peeking at come A-Day, trying to see what the linebackers are doing. Like you mentioned, Green, seeing what the front four is doing in different schemes that they're throwing at the offensive line and trying to get to the quarterback and what they're doing to disguise blitzes and stuff like that. So those are all the things that I'm going to be paying attention to. But above all, I am expecting just to kind of scope out and I want to see some good play. I want to see good talent. I want to see guys go out there, ball out. I want to see the star guys do their thing. Some people we haven't even heard of as well to go out there and do their thing. So I'm open, not trying to be stuck about, oh, this guy is gonna do this. He has to do this. I'm trying to be open about it, but I will say my main attraction and the main thing that's going to have my attention is going to be quarterback play and then seeing what that front seven can do in terms of bringing pressure, disguising blitzes, and just getting to the quarterback and protecting the pass coverages as well. So it'll be interesting to see, but those are going to be the things that I'm looking out for as well.
2025 Golden Flake A-Day spring game is April 12th at Saban Field at Bryant Denny Stadium. While we will not be there in person, we certainly will be following along with it and seeing who is ready to be an Alabama football player. That's going to do it. That's going to do it for us. So every Tuesday night, 7 p.m., right here, Voice of College Football Network, Alabama Primetime Live. We are immediately following Alabama Crimson Tide live with Jackson Johnson. So if you like what you saw, and I certainly hope you did, I know we had fun doing this. Hope you guys had just as much fun watching. Make sure you're dropping a like. Make sure you're subscribing, you're sharing, you're following us all on social media, because this is 24/7 college football, the best coverage you will find, especially for those Crimson Tide fans. For Manny Wilson,
yes, sir.
Couto. We'll see you next week.